How's it going, everyone? I'm Austin from ElderDrunkenHighlander, and this is our deck tech video for Florian's Approach. Yet another Dragon's Approach deck that leverages this card's ability to deal damage to the table alongside Florian's ability to dig off of it. This is actually the second Dragon's Approach deck we have made on this channel. The first one is called O Lord She Comin', and is a mono-red storm deck using Circara. While this deck shares a similar card pool, the strategy and feel of it are vastly different. Circara was about building up to one or two massive storm turns where you burn the table out all at once. Stupid Sexy Florian, though, is a mid-range slow burn deck, more of a one-sided group slug than a true burn deck. The deck is designed for games that go a little longer, and it aims to consistently deal damage over the span of turns rather than all at once. Before I talk any further on Blood Daddy Florian, though, I just want to let you know how you can support the channel. Signing up on Patreon is the best way. All the money from there gets used on equipment and other things to improve the channel. You can also help us farm clout by giving us a follow on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Lastly, if you like this content, please consider subscribing just like how Florian is subscribed to receive blood tithes from his subjects on a regular basis. You can take my blood, Mr. Voltaire. Where does the line? Alright. Start your game by looking to ramp up to the pale shirtless wonder as early as you can so you can make like a ghoul color and start digging. Generally, our first Florian trigger will be on turn 3 to 4 when someone takes 3 because they didn't feel like chumping our commander with a dork. Personally, I can't empathize with this sentiment. I am constantly looking for an excuse to throw myself in front of Florian. Anyways, once Florian is nicely established, we can begin our approach. The game plan here is simple. We want to scale up our damage and board state each turn using Florian to snowball into bigger and bigger battlefields and burns until eventually we hit critical mass and kill the table. We have a suite of efficient beaters that help with this game plan, allowing us to attack in for bigger Florian triggers. We also use our approaches to dig up to 9 cards deeper each second main phase. 3 mana to look at the top 9 cards of your library and pick one to cast is absolutely nuts, and it is only the floor for approach. It is not unheard of for this deck to dig 20 or more cards deep during big damage turns. Our beaters largely exist to burn the table out of our approaches, with thralls like Firebrand Archers and Electrostatic Field offering more damage from our approaches, along with evasive creatures such as Force 1 Paladin, and of course our dragons offer further damage for our Lord Florian. We also have a cadre of creatures included, with the goal of offering synergies with instants and sorceries. Dragon's Rage Channeler, Sedgemoor Witch, Storm Kiln Artist, Bergie, and Runaway Steamkin, just to list a few. These guys give us extra value from casting our approaches and are a great asset for our board. Creatures aren't the only drip our Florian has been collecting though. There's also blood, and these artifacts. We have a sexy suite of shiny supplements to send our strategy into the stratosphere. Cards like Ruby Medallion and Primal Amulet make our approaches easier to cast, whereas cards like Lightning Greaves and Champion's Helm protect Papa Florian so we can just keep digging. We also have quite a few mana rocks in the list to help ensure we get to approaching people smoothly. Oh, but I would be remiss to miss the dragons. We have 4 slots for dragons in this build, and like with many approach decks, they are flexible. You can add whatever dragons you like, it matters not. This list is trying out Moonveil Regent, Hellkite Tyrant, Goldspan Dragon, and Dragon Mage. You can do whatever you want though. Florian isn't your dad. He's your daddy. Some other dragons you may want to consider include Nullspine Dragon, Balefire Dragon, Vampiric Dragon, or Immersed Predator for the vampire flavor. Or even something like Rapacious Dragon, Tyrant's Familiar, or Drakuseth. The possibilities are as robust as Florian's glorious abs. Lastly, Dragon's Approach isn't our only powerful damage sorcery. I couldn't resist adding Wildfire. Just think of all the digging you can do in the impossible scenario where you can main phase 1 of Wildfire and then also somehow recast Florian. We also run some rituals like Dark Ritual and powerful sorceries like Mana Geyser and Jessica's Will that will assist in that process. We also have Pox as another haymaker for Florian that is basically a tutor for us, and we even have some recursion with Mizik's Mastery, Sins of the Past, and Finale of Promise too. Yeah, turns out Dragon's Approach is just the warm-up. Notable inclusions: Cryptolith Fragment. This card helps with Florian and gives us mana. I lost horribly on stream to this once, and now it has been permanently seared into my memory. Obviously, I had to include it in my list. Also, if you want to see me eating shit to a mana rock, there is a link to the video in the description. Thanks, Josh. Next up, Temporal Extortion. Exile from the top 20 with Florian or take an extra turn. Win-win, baby. Box. This is like a tutor for us. We can dig something like 30 cards or more even. Chain of Smog. Game's gotta end somehow, and one of the ways we can deal with infinite life is this bad boy on our Sedgemoor Witch. It's a fair combo because it forces us to wait a turn to attack, which gives our opponents time to react. The real reason Chain is good in this build, though, is because, thanks to Florian, we don't need our hand. Get it out of here. People can send the Chain to us all they want, and we can send it right back. Sire of Insanity, eat your heart out. Forsworn Paladin. This guy does it all. Evasion, First Strike, Death Touch, and a power buff on Florian. And also, he makes mana. Dope! Now we've got our notable exclusions. Thermo Alchemist, Rock Slide Sorcerer, other burn on instant sorcery effects. We have enough of these already, but if you want more in the build, there are certainly enough flex slots for them. Board Wipes. Honestly, this deck can go too hard for the level I want to play it at sometimes, so I omitted stuff like Balefire Dragon and Blasphemous Act. Earthquake and Friends would be another good consideration for this deck due to sexy vampire synergies. Okay. Single target removal. Again, we are light on this because we typically kill players before eliminating their threats. If you want to play this against higher power builds, I suggest adding a Go for the Throat or Victim of the Night. Or I guess a Braid, even though it isn't on theme. Rakdos Charm is a great option too. Card selection like Faithless Looting and Thrill of Possibilities would be the suggested cuts here. Chandra Spitfire, Kiln Fiend, Monastery Swiftspear. This deck focuses a little more on killing everybody equally, so powerful single target face punchers like these guys aren't exactly on theme. Damage doublers. I think the mana investment of these guys is too much when we could just double our damage by casting 2 spells instead. These cards are much more important in decks that lack card advantage, as they make up for our drawing less cards by giving individual spells more impact. This deck does not need to take that approach. It has a different approach. A dragon's approach. And with that, our intended opponents for this deck would be players operating decks more powerful than the latest precons, but still not what you would think of as high-powered EDH. We have no fast mana and no 2-card combos that instantly win the game. Our strongest combo is at least 15 mana in Worldfire and Recast in Florian. We also have Chain of Smog and Sedgemoor Witch, or Storm Kiln Artist. Neither of these combos let us kill the table the same turn we cast it, though. We have no outlet for infinite mana from Storm Kilns, and both strategies mean we need to wait a turn to attack, which gives the table ample time to react. Generally, though, people are going to die to taking an increasing amount of damage every turn from this deck's burn engine. It is fun, fair, telegraphed, and most importantly helmed by a blood-sucking, sexy god. If you want to learn more about this deck, make sure you subscribe and join our Discord. You can talk with us, other members of our community, where we focus on brewing decks and playing janky games. You can also see me build decks like this on streams coming up in the next year. So follow us on Twitch if you want to see more of that, and maybe even help me create a list one day. Last week we did, I don't remember, was it Narfi Lands? We built some janky stuff, I swear, and it was a lot of fun. So, I'd love to see you there. Also, you can become a patron to help fund our projects. Follow us on Twitter for shitposting, check out our Instagram as well. We have a lot going on right now. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay janky, my friends.